And welcome back. We left off last time in the Long Dark. Mainly had stepped into this house for a save point, so I'm just going to step right back out again. With my next goal to be getting down to the fishing spot down there. The fishing cabins down there. And getting us a map from that location. Basically what we tried to map last night during the full moon. And if it was successful, I think we're down to, what, like 2 spots left? Yeah, 2 spots left. That's odd. Showing 3, 16 of 18, and showing 3. Okay. I know the 3 spots. Just for some reason, it's saying 16 of 18. Probably one of the spots we've mapped doesn't count. That's why it's giving a weird count order. Can't remember. Looks like there's a little bit of beach coming that we can take advantage of as we head over. Is it human? Yes, it's human. Nothing human, anything in the suitcase? No. Fish.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Okay, moving the fish guarantees the fish will stay there. That looks like a deer carcass from a wash ashore, but I'm going to go ahead and get the mapping done before I go deal with that carcass. Before we lose the dusk and lose the good mapping opportunity. Drop torch, pick next torch. Looks like the place to cross the breakwater. To be fair, if the weather is nice, it may make sense to try to hunt the bear while we're over here. 20 kilograms of bear meat would be a good way to get the salt box full again. Shimmy my way up there. Oh, I should have left the cedar firewood behind at the fishing hut. It's definitely not really useful for mapping. It's a little bit too much time for mapping. And not enough temperature.
It's dusk, so night can't be far behind.
There we go, so that's the fishing camp. Yeah, now it's saying 17, 18, but there's 2 missing. The Tooth, Bear Creek Campground. Yet, somehow 19 of 18 is the correct number. Someone with more experience in the game will probably understand why it is. I've got one more than I should have. An Aurora. how to play the Aurora. Aurora will mean it should be high enough visibility that I can map. On the other hand, that does mean it may not necessarily be super safe for moving around. I'm not going to risk going up to the bear campground. Okay, we already found some of the wolves have swapped. I'm going to try to go do the tooth. When the weather is good. As a biome, specifically because of the Aurora mine, as a biome with Aurora affecting buildings or sites, I think the Coastal Highway has a slightly higher probability to have Auroras than other places. Well, other places are the same difficulty at least. I haven't quite run into Auroras as much in Costal Highway as I have in... And we can see we haven't had a full transition into an Aurora because we've still got some deer around. I haven't had quite as many Auroras here as I have had in Blackrock. That's within days of spawn most of the time. I generally don't go to Blackrock very often. So there's the tooth. So map the tooth. And I suppose with the tooth mapped, I may try to be a bit risky. It would be a bit risky because I'm a little fatigued at this point to try going up the campground. Be the last mapping spot. It would probably be better to wait till tomorrow. Do it in the early morning. We'll see how the weather in the Aurora hangs around. We're going to at least be here for 20 minutes to do this map, so... I believe this is the tooth. Yeah, this is the tooth. And new location discovered. Apparently I haven't been close enough to the tooth for it to be labeled as the tooth before. There we go, there's the tooth. So just the campground over here that isn't mapped as far as Faithful Cartographer is concerned. Oh, maybe they had it since Faithful Cartographer has been a thing. Because apparently it thinks Coastal Highway is done. Wait, I was certain there was one more spot. Pretty sure I hadn't mapped that last spot. Yeah, I hadn't done Bear Creek Campground. And then it spontaneously gave it to me, okay. That's probably where the number error was coming from. Okay, so the game considers me to have finished mapping Coastal Highway. I don't agree with it, because I definitely, from my perspective, the campground isn't mapped. So I'm definitely going to go out and map the campground at least. Though I do need to be a little careful, because the Aurora is up, so I can't scare wolves or bear off. They're not going to be, and they're a little more aggressive, but they're not going to be too much more aggressive than normal. So in theory I can just walk away from them if they are causing a problem. Though that would require, obviously, not walk in the direction I was walking if they're in the way. I think this is a deer that I saw. Yeah. That looks like deer. Yeah, maybe have to be a little careful walking around Because I won't be able to drive off wolves and deer in this weather. I'll just have to walk away from them. And because they are slightly more aggressive in this weather, I will have to be a little bit more careful which ways I run when running away from them. Yeah, so if the Aurora holds, I'll try to go map the last mapping site. Because even though the game's counting as mapped, I don't count it as mapped. That's definitely not mapped. Though maybe I would be better off, better served by going to sleep and doing it in the morning. 10 hours more fatigue would be a lot of mobility that we can pick up. See if I can Billy go up here to try to cut the corner. The more I cut the corner, the greater the likelihood I don't run into the bear. Which is the one I'm more worried about. I'm more worried about the bear than I am about the wolves. And arguably, if I wasn't trying to map where I'm going, it would probably be a better idea to not have a lit torch with me. As all the torch is doing right now is giving my position away. But when I get there, I'm going to want to set up a campfire. So we're going to want it when we get where we're going. Even if between point A and point B, the torch here is not super useful. We can definitely hear the Aurora Wolf off in the distance. So there is one up here. Somewhere. Doesn't sound like it's in my immediate path, though. Oh, cut the corner more than I thought I did. Honestly, if I want a really good map, coming up here and having some of the areas back here would probably be a thing to do.
I'm so tired, I could just lay down right here.
Nice, slow, methodical walk. We know where we're going. Or I know where I'm going. Taking a little bit of a shortcut, so that's a little bit of a new thing. So if you're having a little bit of trouble following where we are, don't worry, I might be getting myself lost. But I have an idea where I'm going. So I don't think I'm getting myself lost. Wolves detect me, so I'm going to fall back to that cabin and sleep out the night. Right now, if I keep going the way I'm going to, I'm going to run face first into that wolf. And in an Aurora, that's a problem. So we'll just wait until morning. I have lost him, but he's still probably where I want to go, so Not going to backtrack to run into him again. Okay, so memory serves, there's no real food here. So I might as well put the torch out. Disassemble the torch and take a 10-hour snooze. Worst case scenario, I'll be a little low on calories, is what I'm thinking for the following day. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have about 600 calories tomorrow to get to food. Okay, that sounds like a blizzard. Hopefully it isn't a blizzard. Very windy day. Okay, so not a blizzard, but just about as bad as it could be without being one. Crows are crowing over something. There's the wolf that we met yesterday when it was in Aurora. Trying not to get detected by him. I think we're roughly in the area where... Okay, research this corpse. Where the cougar would be if I hadn't turned cougars off. Notice every once in a while I pop into the map and we see a cougar symbol. That's because of the short period of time when the cougar was glitched and was spawning on saves that had the cougar turned off. It's been fixed since, but it didn't remove the marker, is my understanding.
I need anything right about now.
Almost on the campground. And honestly, it might have considered the campground map because of the cougar spawn. Okay, we're getting 2 kills. And this is probably where we'll map from. But I think this is close enough to the campground to at least get it revealed on the map. Hey, look, cartographer has already said we've got it, but
Come on.
I'd like to actually see it on the map.
Turned out pretty well.
Okay. Lump of coal in to start. Okay, that should get us warm. Ah, okay. So it looks like... Oh, about to say, it looks like the carcass, deer carcass isn't usable. Carcass is usable, okay. Just gonna be a weird angle. If I want wolf or deer for salt curing, I probably want it closer to the garage. So I'm not going to worry about salt curing these ones. Okay, 40 minutes, that should be enough time to get the rest off. Yeah. Just remembered I didn't check to make sure we dropped all the fat, so I might be attracting more animals.
I need to drop something.
Yeah, 32 is close enough. Alright, next off... we got what? We got like 38 on those. Okay, so let's take the hide off the deer. Do that barehanded. Then we take one of the guts off. Okay, that's my gut. I want to put a little more fuel in the fire, and this is actually a good situation to throw cedar on. Because we want time and not necessarily temp. Hides take priority over guts. Take the hide off of the wolf. And we'll take the last gut off of the deer next. We do have a reasonably close drop spot for the stuff to cure. So I'm not too worried about it clogging up my inventory. Okay, close enough. Take the remainder of guts off. That we should have both animals completely harvested. I think we're in the wind shelters, so we should be good. At least for the moment. And there we go. On the map, we actually have the location. A little low in water, but we should be fine. With this offset, I may actually spend the second half here to make a little bit of water. Just so we don't run out of water in the middle of cooking. Well, not run out of water, but so we can be hydrated while cooking. Fully hydrated. Haven't acquired any cloth, so this is about the point where I don't have much to do. Though this might be a good time. I think the wind will play along reasonably well. Yeah, we'll leave what's left on the fire in the time, and we'll go drop the guts and the hides off right over there, and then come right back. At which point we'll have time to cook up what's left, and then start the trip back to the garage. Or at least down to the fishing huts. I've got to debate to myself whether or not I really want to hunt the bear. Or begin planning for the trip out to wherever I'm going. Okay. Drop the 4 guts. Drop the 2 hides. I'm going to remember to take the birch saplings with me. That's one reason to go back to the garage. Well, blizzard pulled up. We'll see if our fire's still going. If it is, we'll keep working it. It does look like it's still going. This looks like a blizzard, but doesn't sound like a blizzard. And what it looks like, but doesn't sound like, that's generally not a good time to be wondering about. Because that might mean things are still spawned in if you're not getting the right audio cues. weather improved. Okay, how much fat do I have? We've got about 2 kilograms worth of fat. So we might as well turn the fat, when we got decent situations like this, into cooking oil. Not that we need the cooking oil. Okay, so now we got plenty of food here, which is going to be good for traveling back and forth Mr. Lake to the garage. Means I don't have to go all the way to the garage every time I want to feed the character. Just gotta go down to the campsite. Now the other question is, do I want to hunt the bear? Probably shouldn't hunt the bear this episode, otherwise the episode will run long, but figuring out where the bear is interesting. The bear is probably in this area, and depending on where the bear is, depends on whether or not it makes sense to try to twang the bear. I think what I'll try to do with what's left of this episode is figure out where the bear is. If I don't figure out where it is, I probably just give up on trying to hunt it and head back to the garage. If I do find where it is, I may record one more part tonight, which will be hunting the bear. There's the bear. And the bear has found us, which is a little bit of a problem if I want to hunt it. If you heard that, the bear's right next to its den, so it didn't really go anywhere. Where I should have expected it to be. What water do I have? A little low in water. And by a little low in water, I am at the point where I can drink all the water, which is always a state of low. Oh, that reminds me. There was... might not be out there anymore, but there was... it sounded like a carcass out here. Let's see if it still is out here. I don't know if that high wind speed, low visibility point was technically classified by the game as a blizzard. If it was, the carcass won't be. It looks like the carcass is here, so it probably wasn't classed as a blizzard. It was probably just a storm. Okay, surprisingly warm. So we'll use a cedar firewood to get this deer. Let's make up a bunch of water while we do harvesting of the meat. No, there's basically no meat. Okay. Well, otherwise free crafting gear is free crafting gear, so... Might be basically no food, but we didn't need the food anyway. Nature provides harvest. Okay, harvested the water. And we already had already had a light going, so was, for almost all intents and purposes, free crafting materials for the cost of 1 cedar log. Like, yeah, meet that camp with us. Yeah, the weather's turning a little squirrely. It's probably not good bear hunting weather. This is also not... The last bear that's up in Coastal Highway is probably the least interesting bear for me to hunt from a resource gathering standpoint. The other two are much closer to Quonset Garage, where I've got the salt chest. Yeah, I think I am just going to take the trip back to Quonset and call it there when we get back. Guts inside, leave the meat outside. In practice, because I got Cookie 5, it doesn't really make a big difference, but... And to be fair, I'll probably forget which hut I've dropped these in. But when I come across them later and they're cured, they'll either be a pleasant surprise, or I'll just be like, oh, I left some guts and hide there that I really don't care about. Because honestly, free stuff is free. Well, cheap stuff is cheap. But that doesn't necessarily mean you guys care about it. I'm gonna guess I have, yeah, I have a little bit of wind shelter here. Not officially counted as wind shelter. But the level of verticality to the wind here, my guess would be I'd probably lose the torch if we didn't have some wind shelter, keeping the wind speed down. But the torch does provide some protection, so I will continue to walk with it out.
if I can drop any of this gear.
Yeah, this is going to be hopefully an uneventful walk back to the garage. Pig's a little low, because apparently the character's been up most of the day at this point, so that's maybe not super surprising. It is starting to get a little cold, but I think we can get the rest of the way back to Quonset without taking significant damage. Keep walking through. If you were on the pursuit for more fuel, the route that I'm taking, which is along the road, is probably not the best way to go. You would probably want to wander off the road a little bit more, grab things like sticks. Which, now that I start talking about it, is what I'm doing as well, but yeah, if you sort of hang to the side of the road, or at least try not to walk down the road doesn't have any sticks on it, usually. If you go off the side of the road, you'll have to find some sticks. At this point, the salt has probably respawned in that mine. So do I want to take the detour to get the salt? We'd be walking slow, but I think we can take the 2.5 kilograms of salt. This. That'd be a productive way to end this episode, is get some salt back, get some more salt in the salt box.
Too heavy.
There's the salt deposit. And yeah, it looks like it has a respawn. Well, I think this is bigger than the one on Distance Rope. One kilogram. 1.5 kilogram. 2 kilogram. 2.5, yeah, so it's more than 2.5, so that's 3. 3.5. 4.5. No, 4. Let's see if I can count right. That's 4.5. So I think it's a full 5 here. And with that, we've got all the salt. Okay, so we'll be a bit slow on the walk back. But as things were, it was probably going to be a safe walk anyway, so walking a little bit slower isn't going to make that much different. And this means when we come back here, wanting to put a whole bear in the box, we'll be ready to put a whole bear in the box, salt-wise.
I'm gonna have to leave something behind.
Okay, at this point I got enough fuel, and I got enough cargo that I should stop picking sticks up. I say as I pick up more sticks. Yeah, sometimes I'm a bit of a dog with tennis balls. Gotta have more sticks. walking down the Coastal Highway. Much to talk about. Mainly just keeping head on the swivel, so I'm trying to pay attention to things as we walk down the way. And here's some walls, so we might run into a little bit of interesting situation as we hit the garage. But a lit torch, it should be as simple as scaring them off if they do get attracted to us. We'll be at time to swap a torch. Maybe we'll make it the rest of the way in on one last torch. This is how good our average torch quality is at this point. So, approaching the coastal town site. Well, approaching the garage, mostly. Got some food. I think we're good on the food for the moment. At least, give the character a sleep.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Go ahead and save for the day. Let's look at the oil on me. I do. Let's drop the oil. Might be worth having the oil on me if I was carrying some flour to cook with it. Okay, so box is not quite full on salt, but we don't need to be perfectly full. Might as well be a little bit more efficient with salt. That's the salt dropped off. I think that's a good place to stop for the day. So I hope you've been enjoying playthrough of the Long Dark. Just finished mapping Coastal Highway. Oh, before I forget, drop off birch saplings. The maple just reminded me of that. So I hope you've been enjoying the playthrough. I'm gonna put it on a slight hiatus. Give time for people to provide feedback on where they'd like to see me map next. So there may not actually be a part up tomorrow if you're watching YouTube. Probably record something else for a couple days to give you some time to have a comment. If you've been enjoying this and want to see me map a particular area, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, I suppose before I log off, let me check what day we got up to. So we're up on day 145. So if you've been enjoying it, I hope you've been enjoying it if you've been watching it this far. If you got a place you want to see mapped, feel free to leave a comment. And until the next part, we'll have a good time. Have good luck. Catch you all in the next part after figuring out where we're going to map next. Bye for now.